Well, hey, Charlie. So, we're here to make some fire today. We're going to be using some pretty primitive materials. And what I have is a fire set. And I made one for you that would be a little more your size. We have quite the difference in size. You're a little bit smaller than I am. So, and the size of your fire set does matter. But first we want to talk about what makes a fire. Do you know how fire happens?
It's when something burns because it gets really hot.
Yes, exactly. There's 3 elements to a fire that it needs. Can you think, in all your experiences of fires, what does a fire need in order for it to be a fire? Oxygen. Oxygen, very good. The other 2, they're so easy that oxygen is easy to read down. One of them is a fuel. Mostly we think of that as like wood when we're thinking about fires. So it needs something to burn. And then the last one is heat. You need heat. So these 3 things is what makes a fire. Now, have you ever seen a Karate Kid? There's a method they use, like slapping their hands and they start rubbing them back and forth. Can you do that for me? I need you to go faster. Harder, press them together. Can you start getting warm? Yeah? Can you get hot? Hands are pretty hot? Pretty warm. Okay, we're going to take the same principle as that, but we're going to use a fire bow drill set. And the components of a bow drill set, here we have a spindle. And there's a reason why they're shaped like this, and why they are what they are. First we have these are your fuel sources we talked about. So you already have oxygen in the air, and then the fuel is going to be your spindle, and this right here is called a fireboard. And spindle, as you can see from the previous marks, this is where the spindle goes inside. Now, I've got these cracks. These are actually built on purpose. Can you think why I would have these cut out pieces right here? If you can picture this spindle going inside and spinning around fast, in our hands. How is it?
Wood can come.
So wood can come out, exactly, that's one reason. Can you think of what were the 3 components of the fire building?
Oxygen.
Heat, oxygen. What do you think is coming up through there while you're pressing down like that? There's heat coming out, and there's also air coming in. So we get that little vent. This little vent right here, so oxygen can seep in while we're drilling this fire, trying to bust a coal. We say bust a coal in this kind of activity because of combustion. Combustion is actually the chemical reaction that makes fire. Okay? So I want you to have your own fire set, and I'm going to be right alongside you, okay? I'm going to demonstrate what this is going to look like. And I want you to try to follow what I'm doing, okay? So this is your bow, right here. It's not bow and arrow. You can't really shoot anything. There's not too much of that elastic to it. But this is your bow, and this is the reason why it's a bow is, why do you think it's called a bow?
Because it's shaped like one.
Yeah, it's shaped like one. I mean, it flexes a little bit. It's out of willow. That's going to be your bow. And when you hold your bow, you're going to hold it just like this. And we're gonna thread the spindle through the bow like this, and there, it's gonna be you want it nice and tight. So our elements again were the fuel from the fireboard and the spindle, the oxygen from our trench that we had cut out, and then lastly we have something we need to heat. And so to create the heat, we're gonna create this friction through using the spindle and rolling the spindle back and forth. And you're gonna want to put the bow in your right hand, and your left leg is gonna come up and it's gonna sit across. So the arch of your foot is gonna sit right here. So you don't want to cover the hole. We're going to use this hole. And it's going to come right across like that. Good. You won't break it. Don't even worry about that. And then you're going to thread your spindle. So you're going to grab the spindle, and when you thread it, you want the dark side. That's the point that's going to go in the fireboard. You want the dark side to go to your left. And then take the string and wrap it around it like that. Ooh, very good. And you're gonna have to crank it. Perfect. See how taut it is? See how tight it is? Okay. Now you're going to put that portion of the spindle down into your fireboard. Okay. Now this is your top rock. You notice it's tight. It wants to move on you. The hardest part is making sure it stays on there and that you're comfortable with it. So if you can hold it with one hand, see if you can reach over for your top rock and place it on top so that crevice is right, or that hole, that dimple is right on the spindle. Okay, your right leg is going to be getting in the way. So you want to try to put your right leg, and it's going to feel really awkward in how you're doing it. Because you want your right leg kind of out, and you're going to be leaning in, so you're able to put pressure on it. You got to use every ounce that you have to put pressure on this thing to get enough pressure on it. I'm going to start out. I'm just going to try to go easy back and forth like this. You're going to lock this hand against your ankle. So scoot up your heel just a little bit. Yeah. And you're just going to hold that right against your ankle. Okay? And see if you can go back and forth. Just kind of smooth. Don't worry about going down too hard or anything like that. And this is a skill that requires a lot of patience. Just try to seesaw back and forth. Nice and straight. And move on. You can try to rock it back and forth. Oh, that was good. Kicking out. Wow. Sometimes you can take the bow, because of this willow, it bends a little bit, and so you can put it in your armpit, and it'll bend a little bit when you push it against the ground. You're putting it in your spindle, makes it a little easier to crank it over. Just to gives you a little more slack. Would you be up for a tandem? We could both try at the same time. And we could use this longer bow. And we could try it on, when we're going back and forth, we can both put down some pressure. Just gonna get this.
Here she is.